going to do the right thing unless the people hold them accountable. You never know what you're going to get when you put somebody in office. That's why it's not up to them to write the legislation. It's up to us to write the legislation and hand it to that representative or senator. The fact of the matter is, there's just so much that people don't know. I have a serious issue with anyone putting stuff in our food that isn't good for the human body. That's it. I don't care if it preserves it. I don't care if it keeps it pink or white or red or black. What I care about is that it needs to be feeding the mind, the body, the soul. Period. Listen, you don't make money by solving a problem. If PETA wanted to take care of animals, they could solve that issue. If the Sierra Club was interested in saving the forest, they'd stop the government from spraying all the stuff that kills the forest and burns them down every year. If the WHO was really interested in building the world health, they wouldn't have been complicit in spreading the coronavirus and then pushing a vaccine that slaughters millions and millions and millions of human beings. You make money by keeping your machine going. I'm telling you, there is very little that is actually real anymore. Just look at the sky. Every single day, we are sprayed into oblivion. It's gotta stop, and it's gotta stop now. Create our new constitutional republic. I mean, schools have stripped anything but indoctrination out of the curriculum. Where did art go? Where did science go? Where did band go? Honestly, I do not understand why we don't teach philosophy at the grade school level. I don't think it's any secret that you really do have to dig extremely deep if you want to get to the truth.
That's right. It is 7 p.m. And of course, we got the notice out correctly today. I am Sergey Brown, and this is
Dawn.
There we go, Sergey Brown. It's like Tony Orlando and Dawn. Remember that?
Yeah, believe me, I heard them all when I was growing up.
There we go.
Delta Dawn.
That Delta Dawn. You know,
Donnie and Marie, because my name is Marie, Dawn Marie. So, hey, Donnie, how's Marie?
Yeah, I loved that. I met Tanya Tucker any number of times.
What does that have to do with Donnie and Marie?
Delta Dawn.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So there you go. Donnie and Marie, there you go.
Yeah.
So, well, tonight we've got a fantastic guest on, Justin Robert or Justin Harvey, depending on how you know him. He's going to be on at 7:30. So for the first half an hour, we are going to kind of prep by talking about farms and farming and the damage that's being done to farms, because I think that it is probably one of the most important topics of our time, and it's directly related to geoengineering, babe. Mm-hmm. All of the adverse weather and everything that is being sprayed, and of course the radiation kills plant life. What are we doing? What are we doing to the damn planet? The plan, damn it.
Yeah.
See how I mix those up?
Yeah, you're a genius.
I am.
Is it Friday yet?
No, but you know what? Speaking of Friday, tomorrow we got the whole gang here. Austin,
yeah.
Jack, you, me. It's our big show. It's a really big show tomorrow. Really big show.
Oh, gee.
I got to watch what I reference now, because all of the millennials, nobody knows this stuff anymore. Nobody knows who Ed Sullivan was. All the big names are gone. Red Skelton. I mean, God, that was talking about great comedy, great shows. So as you know, I'm Sergey Brown, and we're going to be talking about farming tonight. And I think that it really strikes home with me, because I grew up in farming communities, and I've watched over the years how these communities have literally folded.
Yeah, disappeared.
Yeah. So tonight we're facing a crisis, getting America's heartland. Since 1970, we've lost over 1 million farms. That's a 35% drop. That should frighten you.
Yeah.
Family farmers are drowning in debt, soil turning to dust, and rural towns are fading. From corporate land grabs to geoengineering messing with our weather, a storm is gathering over American agriculture. Let's take a look at this. Farmers on the edge. Back in 1970, we had 2.9 million farms. Today, just 1.88 million. Over 1 million gone. Just like that. Farmers are aging out, kids leaving, families, land sold to corporations if it is not abjectly stolen, because they turn the water off in so many of these areas. The Bureau of Land Management and the EPA say that you can't use this or that land. And then that opens the door for people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and who knows who to move in and buy these plots of land and then hold on to them so they can sell their fake meat. Why? Land prices sky high. Young farmers can't afford to start. And those who do, well, they're buried in debt. The Reichmans in Wisconsin are $300,000 in the hole, harassed by bill collectors. They get $16 per 100 pounds of milk, a 40% drop from just 6 years ago. And it's not just economics, geoengineering, scrambling rainfall patterns. We've seen how these floods have erased topsoil in land that they want to put on these big server farms or liquid natural gas power plants. Roundup kills weeds, but also the microbes that keep the soil alive. Dirt without life, I think it's just dust, probably. So I think what needs to happen is that we need to start giving tax breaks, getting more land access, apprenticeships, regenerative farming, crop rotation, cover crops, ditch the chemical crutches, and maybe drive Monsanto out of business. The elites, well, they're too busy sipping kale smoothies and hyping lab meat, while the real food producers go absolutely extinct. Lose the farmers, and we lose control of our own plates. That should frighten you.
And delivery driver says, "Don't forget China, Sergey. Land grabs."
Oh my God, China. And I do hope that Donald Trump stands up to his word on this and has China forfeit that land, because they should not own any land in America.
And Sue Pear says 440 acres in Missouri currently being taken for AI data center. Tragedy.
It is. It's an absolute tragedy.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, baby, Miss Dawn. How much data do you have to eat to stay alive? Yeah, none. You don't need data to live.
Yeah.
But you need data if you sell data, and then you buy up huge tracts of farmland after your buddies in the government have put these families out of business. I think that's one of the biggest tragedies right there.
Beckham says Nicole Shanahan renamed geoengineering as re-engineering of the climate. Maybe she was warned not to use the term.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, Sergey, her husband, head of Google, her ex-husband, former head of Google. She got like billions of dollars in that divorce settlement. Yeah. And she obviously was privy to information that you and I are not even close to knowing about. So maybe she did. I think that it's not a far reach to say that the people that we trust to tell us the truth, like Nicole Shanahan, maybe they can't. And I'm not saying that she wouldn't if she could. I'm saying that there is a lot of leverage out there. And unfortunately, people like RFK and Nicole want to do the right thing, but just kind of are squeezed.
Sue also said, remember the Jetsons? Their dinner was little pills?
Yes.
Because there's no land.
That's exactly right. Very good catch right there. Oh, my God. Let's take a look at this article. This was in 2019. I found this in Time magazine. They're trying to wipe us off the map. Small American farmers are nearing extinction. This is so true. So this is the Reichmans, and I referenced them in my opening statement there. For nearly 2 centuries, the Reichmans family farm has raised cows for milk in this muddy patch of land in the middle of Wisconsin. Mary and John Reichman now run the farm, and over 45 cows have seen all manner of ups and downs, droughts, floods, oversupplies of milk that sent prices tumbling, but they've never seen a crisis quite like this one. The Reichmans are about $300,000 in debt, and bill collectors are hounding them about the feed bill and repayment for a used tractor they bought to keep the farm going. This is what I'm talking about right here. Just absolutely. We have a friend of ours that is in the dairy farm business. Mm-hmm. And he's pretty high up there. And he posted an article on Facebook that points this out. And that was actually the impetus of this segment today. Because if the very people that bring milk and farm products to us are now very concerned that we might not be able to feed America, I think maybe it's time to listen. What say you?
Christy says it's so sad to see that happening. We need them.
Oh my God, absolutely.
I mean, it's a no-brainer, but for some reason, the higher ups don't seem to think so.
They really don't.
I think, are they going back to like what, when you were poor, you had powdered milk you told me about?
Yeah,
maybe that's what we're going back to.
Exactly.
Here, have some powder. Just add toxic water.
The ratio for the powdered milk, right, was 4 packets to 1 gallon. We would use 1/4 of a packet to a gallon of water. That's how poor we were, and that was our milk. Yeah. I remember the first time I ever tasted real milk at Sim Moore's house. I was like, my God, what is this mud?
And they said milk.
They're like, it's milk. Where have you been?
And you go, no, it's not. They're like, yes, it is. No, it's not.
Exactly. I knew what, but the milk was just about as misty as our skies are.
Oh, the one that your mom said.
Yeah.
You knew that. What this can't be milk.
Yeah. And
Jen says 7/8 cup of powdered milk to 1 cup. I have it up as a backup.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, sure.
Exactly.
I get it that you might not be able to get it, but I think they purposely want us to just go to powdered milk.
Absolutely. I have been working diligently on my plan for the new constitutional republic. I call it the NCR, and we can give it a fancy dancy name, but I'm telling you, there is. I've been putting.
Sergey's obsessed, people.
Yeah, I've been putting a lot of work because I'm obsessed because I really think there's 2 things that we need to be able to create ourselves because the government is in control of it and it worries me. Energy and food. Because we can build our own shelters, right? It's very difficult for them to take that away from us. They can cut the internet off, we can live. They can cut the electricity off, life gets really hard. And the problem is when you cut electricity off from a city like this, you've got 2 weeks until you have absolute mayhem. The streets are bathed in human bodies because people go mad when there's no electricity because everything in the world right now runs on electricity. And so did you know that you can create a generator that runs on firewood and at the same time make charcoal and activated charcoal at that? And the reason I mentioned activated charcoal is because you can use activated charcoal for a poultice. You can use it for a hangover. You can use it for food poisoning, right? You can use it as a cleanse. You can brush your teeth with it. I mean, it's very, very good for you. You can make soap out of it. It's.
I think I've even used it to make a paste for like a burn or a bite, a bee sting.
Remember, I put it on my burn, and I mean severe, just peeled the skin off, burned all the way down my arm. Was it? No, it was my.
Yeah, and you would make a paste and then wrap it in cello.
Yep, there we go, and cured it completely. Just.
LaShawn says our local store sold out of raw milk because the company quit door-to-door delivery. Now I'm going to have to fight over milk. The gal before me got the last 2, so none for me this week.
Oh, wow.
So they're not going door-to-door anymore.
No, and here's the
I miss
thing.
those days.
Yes, but here's the thing, babe. When you have a government that owns absolutely everything, it is impossible, and I mean absolutely impossible, for people to have any kind of way to protect themselves from the government because the government absolutely owns everything. And that is the problem here, is that we are no longer self-sufficient. And now we live at the, behest of the king, as it were. There we go. I'm just getting things set up over here, babe, so I can get on to my next little blurb. So, farms are vanishing. This is taken March 31st, 2025. It's an article from the UK. And the reason I bring the UK up is because it shows a pattern around the world that we are now getting rid of farmers. Do you guys remember all of the farmers in Scandinavia and Sweden that filled the Denmark, and it filled the city hall and everything with manure, tractors, block traffic, because they're putting farms out of business. They're doing the same thing in France. They're doing the same thing in Spain. They're doing the same thing in Germany.
Don't we dare stand up.
Right. And look at what's happened to Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine is one of the breadbaskets of the world. Farming, all gone because of a war. And that's not coming back anytime soon. So now we've got farms vanishing around towns and cities. Our new report reveals. So, our recent report on farming in the urban fringe shows that more than 1,700 farms have disappeared since the from the edges of town and cities since 2010. We're calling on the government to reconcile the vital role of the countryside around our towns and cities and make good on its commitment to a land use framework and a brownfield first house building policy. So all this goes on to say is the exact same thing that we started talking about, is that the farms are not being used properly. Right. They're either being destroyed or they're turning the water off here in America because you've got some special fish or frog or a tadpole or a bug. And it just happens to be on your land that Bill Gates wants or the Chinese want or XYZ Corporation wants because they're a mega farming and all they do is pump Roundup into their fields and they use GMO seeds. That's the problem right there. And obviously,
Hot Sauce, who's a new name, unless you have a different name on X, and I don't know.
Hot Sauce, nice to see ya.
Says they're making rural living harder, pushing in borders for those 15-minute cities.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And Vectum says Gates in China are our new farmers.
Yes, they are. And what are they farming? Well, they're not farming anything real, that's for sure. They're putting on lab-grown meat that is highly toxic, and it will kill you. I read a report, I think Jen sent it to me today, that said the longer people live past 62 years old, the more it costs the government. They really want you to be either ready to die or close to death by 62. They really like us to die by 62 years old. That's optimum for the new United Gestapo of America. So what we need to do is design cities, towns. We need towns. We need to get away from these big cities. We need to design towns that are self-sufficient, that grow their own food, that create their own energy, and that fight the government every step of the way when it comes to killing off the population. There, but really. Farm debt, it now stands at $416 billion. More than half of U.S. farmers have lost money every year since 2013. In 2025, the median farm household income is projected to be minus $328. Minus. That means that the typical farmer loses money money to keep farming. This pressure is crushing lives. Suicides are on the huge rise in farming communities. People like Leon Statz in Wisconsin, who took his life after selling his herd to cover his debts. That is the price that is being paid. And it's not just Leon, that Leon doesn't suffer at all. Leon was driven to that. His family has to live with his death. That's the unfortunate part. And now the family farm, it's no good to anybody because now the patriarch is gone. And the weather, it's unpredictable. Geoengineering is causing droughts, floods. Meanwhile, Roundup eats away the soil fertility, forcing farmers to buy more chemicals and GMO seeds because seeds no longer go to seed. You can't have heritage seeds anymore. What we need to do to fix this is get a farm bill that actually helps farming families. Trade protections, affordable credit, soil built through regenerative farming. My problem is the bureaucrats in D.C. They'd mistake a combine for a Prius. They'll fund weather experiments that ruin harvests, but won't lift a finger for the people feeding us. That just doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. Debt and the dead soil are breaking farmers without action. We don't just lose farms. We lose food security. That's the point right there. What are they saying over there in the chat?
Well, they're laughing at, hey, hot sauce. I made some hot sauce just recently.
Hey, hot sauce.
Gates of hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Babushka said that. they're making sure they keep the pressure on the farmers. They're starting to raise electricity, the property taxes in Utah now, trying to push us all into 15-minute cities. DPFS 98 said that.
And so here's what we do is we coalesce around states that don't do that. You need to flee the states that have become communist states. Unfortunately, that's what we can do. And we need like-minded people to move into states like Idaho. In Idaho, we need help here with conservative thought. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be a conservative to say, you know what, we actually do need farms, and we don't need to be paying the cartel of property taxes. That's a ripoff. It's not how America was designed. And they waste that money. Look at how much money is being wasted. Taxpayer money every single day. Billions of dollars, hundreds of billions, trillions a year, literally being wasted of our money, and farmers still going under. We can't seem to help the people that create the food for us, ranchers.
Right, because nobody wants to farm. Only the ones that have been doing it for hundreds of years in their family.
But, I
think a lot of people are wanting to go back to that life.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people are wanting a simpler, a better way of life.
Yeah. We're looking at our future, and it's kind of looking bleak. Jen says, the latest is BlackRock, et cetera, are buying up power companies now.
Mm-hmm. I read that the other day. Vanguard, State Street, BlackRock, all the names that we all know. Mm-hmm. Once they get into something, look at what happened. The housing market quadrupled over just a few years in many areas because these companies, the exact same, and they say, it's not us. We just lend money to these shell companies, and the shell company buys it up. It's bullshit. They know it. They're lying to you. It's controlled by Larry Fink and the boys. And they're going to buy up energy, just like Enron did, and then sell it back at inflated prices. And you raise the cost of energy, now you're putting people out. They say for every 10 cents that fuel goes up, another million people in America become homeless. That is the price that we're talking about. Yeah. And if people are becoming homeless, can you imagine what 10 cents a gallon does to a farmer or a truck driver? Good God. They go through a ton of fuel. And fuel, energy, those costs, that is what runs the world. And so build a community. There.
You said it.
Build micro hydroelectric plants, build biomass generators. There's any number of things that you can do. You can literally take a pile of biomass, of hay and manure and compost, and you wrap either your copper or your PVC pipe in there. It'll go in cold. It comes out at 160 degrees the other end. All you have to do is keep a little water on it, and you can set up a rolling water system that just water comes down, does its job.
You're learning all kinds of stuff. I am learning
a ton of stuff, and I have an idea of how to use plasma. So we'll see how this goes, and once I get this whole thing kind of built down, I'm going to see what I can do with it and see if we can get. Start. I boiled it down today to 12 houses. It looks like we got Justin there. All right, hold on. Let me restructure this. Justin, how you doing today? Really good. Well, give me 1 second, and I am going to pull you over onto my other screen, and then that way, I'll be looking right at you. All right. Perfect. And here we go. Let's just make sure that this comes up. Give me 1 second. We don't have all the money in the world, so we kind of put this thing together so everybody can see. And I think...
El Gato Prompter?
The Elgato prompter.
There we go.
There we are. Perfect. Justin, it is very nice to see you. We were just talking about farming, and there's so much in that, I'm telling you. But I know that you did quite a bit of work taking out Monsanto. Can you tell me a little about that?
Yeah, so we protested against Monsanto. I wish we could take credit for taking them out. They had to change their name in the end. They had to settle billions and billions of dollars of lawsuits that are still piling up. But I essentially got my activism started by marching against Monsanto here in Orlando, Florida, trying to warn people about genetically modified foods, the Roundup we spray on all the crops, and just hosted that annually. Over time, my activism evolved into big pharma and other things, but the Monsanto fight went on for many years, and it was a consistent thing. And I think we really checked that box as far as like public awareness. Most people know what GMOs are and what organic is now. Most things either got labeled non-GMO. We didn't really get the GMOs labeled as we always fought for. We sort of got the reverse, where everything got labeled non-GMO or organic.
Exactly.
So it was really interesting, but these days there's still things like CRISPR, and Bill Gates has got other experiments from the appeal, Apple stuff.
Right.
There's just so many things that stretch off into that realm. Monsanto was essentially bought by Bayer, which is a pharmaceutical giant that is just as evil and corrupt and poison people like Pfizer and all these companies. So they're still around, but we did cause a really big problem for their public image that was just getting bad over their 100-year reign, and really woke a lot of people up. And like I said, they're still having to pay out billions of dollars.
That is a fantastic, just a fantastic accomplishment. So what got you into that? What were you doing before that? And what was the maturation? What path did you take?
So you're, sorry, it cut out for a second. You said before I got involved with activism?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just really a regular guy in Florida. I went to school at UCF. I was working for a family business. I, was working in some kitchens. I believed the government. I believed historical events were what they told us. Just didn't have really a reason to think differently. It wasn't until a relative sent me down the YouTube rabbit hole and I learned where our money really came from, why we really went to war, what was really in my food, my water, all these things, right? And I just never looked at the world the same again. I was very upset. I wanted to just channel that into positive action. So got involved with activism and independent journalism, and the rest is history.
Amazing.
It really is. By the way, Justin, we've got Dawn sitting in here. She shoots in with a comment every now and then and reads the comments from our chats.
Oh, great.
Good evening. And people are saying, "Hi, Justin. So glad you're here. Happy that you joined us." So.
Awesome. Glad to be here.
And we really are, because I think that these type of conversations have to happen. We were talking about farming earlier. I've got any number of concerns with where America is going today. So on your journey, what was the reason that you went after Monsanto?
That's a good question. I felt like it was something in my control, more so than the wars overseas are very hard to stop. Anything that's like federal or just way out of our hands. This was something that I could kind of go after somewhat locally. This was something that affected us. We eat 3 times a day. Our children are eating. I remember saying that one of my first TV interviews at the protest is like, this is like right in our face. It's not something out of sight, out of mind. This is literally the food you eat, and you're feeding your children, and we could be poisoning ourselves and didn't know it. So I felt like that was something that just was an easy first target, and there was a lot of momentum around. I think California was trying to pass a bill to label GMOs. This was around 2012, 2013, and just jumped on board with that.
So with GMOs, where do you think this fight is going? Do you think that we're making inroads in stopping it, or are we just being placated?
I don't know that we're necessarily stopping it or ever going to stop it completely. We just have to have enough people not buying what they're selling. And I think we'll have sort of, 2 groups, a group of people that buy it and a group of people that don't. I would assume that eventually we would be the larger portion, because once people realize, they don't usually ever go back to eating fast food every day or go back to vaccinating themselves. Usually once you stop, you're on that path. So I don't know. I think we can win, but just like we saw with COVID, after all that, there's
Mm-hmm.
still people that'll line up to go get it. Maybe 20% of the population.
They're
So
still
maybe
wearing
that
masks.
group will, yeah, right. That group may always
Right.
be there, which is hard for me to kind of accept over the years, but I have accepted it.
So with that, with the, I was just talking earlier that we've lost over 1 million farms since the 1970s, and these are some of them are large family farms, but they're not corporate farms. But we've also lost the average rural farm that feeds a community. What can people do if we're losing the farms?
You really just got to support as many local farms as you can. Try not to buy at these big box stores. We always tell people, support local farms, buy organic, grow your own food. These things can really promote these alternative systems, show people that there's a demand for it. That's really the only way, because as I learned with the Monsanto journey, their main goal wasn't just to get us all hooked on it. It was to run the small farmers out of business, to take them over, implement those with genetically modified crops. If those blow into other people's land, they can sue them for patent infringement because the seeds are copyrighted. It's just a really dirty game. And when they take out all the little guys, and it's just like any industry, you take out all the small oil companies, you take out all the small food
Right.
companies, and they have the monopoly, is really what the goal is.
Hot Sauce says, it seems like an endless machine. I still see ads for Roundup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's still on the shelves. You can buy
I
it
can't
at Home
believe
Depot
it.
and Lowe's.
Yeah.
Why would anyone buy
Crazy.
it?
But it's banned in dozens of countries. There's still lawsuits being settled, but they're still able to get around it. And what's unfortunate is there's tons of other products like that. That was just the biggest, baddest, kind of most bullseye on the one we were going after. But I think again, the big thing is public awareness, because then if enough people just avoid the toxins, they'll be okay. We may never get it off the shelf completely. Not
Right.
all.
LaShawn says, thank God we all went down a few rabbit holes to get where we are. Now to educate the masses. You are doing a great job bringing awareness.
And that's the truth, Justin. It's people like you that really make the difference. We need leaders that are not afraid to take the heat. Have you suffered any censorship or anybody saying any bad things about you?
Oh man, you name it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had attacks, not just from my inbox, but they've harassed me before for certain topics. I've been fired from my job before. I've had it all. So I mean, everybody's faced it. Had our accounts deleted. I can't even keep an account up on TikTok. So it's at every corner. But we keep pushing through. They can't delete us all. We always keep popping up every. It's like whack-a-mole. It's just
Yeah.
we are endless, just like their machine is endless. So are we. There's more of us than them. So we still have the ability to flip the table over, I think.
We certainly do. How do we fight the corporate agriculture, though?
That's a good question. Like I said, other than voting with your dollar
Mhm.
as much as possible, and warning as many people to be that change and be that action against all these things, just not buying what they're selling. That's about the only thing we can do, because I don't know that you can't shut a corporation down, just because. You have to literally make it to where no one buys what they sell, so they have to close the doors. They can't pay the bills.
One of the first shows that we did, I think we're on our 52nd show now. Yay! One of the first shows that we did, we talked about the farms, the corporate farms that are getting government subsidies that small farms can't.
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can lobby or that we can write bills, at the state level or at the federal level or both, to stop that and kind of restrict that flow and even that playing field?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Not a bad angle. I wish I was still more. I wish I had a couple clones, honestly, because I don't
Right.
spend as much time on the farming and agricultural stuff as I used to when I first got involved. The pandemic, vaccines took such a front seat. So all these other things coming at us full speed.
Right.
I wish I had more solutions on that front, but I would encourage people to check out Stand for Health Freedom. they're a group that endorses medical freedom candidates that are into these things, and they may be the group that can connect you with a state legislator that can help with that.
It looks like your video is frozen there. Oh, we lost him.
Did he? Oh, he dropped?
Yeah. You think there's, I mean, with all the problems that we were cut off the other night, we were cut off weeks ago, and now we've lost Justin. It is.
Can you see his bandwidth when you're on Zoom?
I don't know.
Sometimes there's bars right by his name because I see his name up there, but it's chopped off. So if you see it go red or yellow, it means he has low bandwidth.
Ah, gotcha. Well, I didn't see anything like that.
So everyone keeps, before he comes back on, so a couple people have asked, can you ask how he got into geoengineering?
I certainly will. Absolutely. I will.
They're yelling at me, baby.
Oh, well,
no, I'm just kidding.
Well, we are, while we wait for Justin,
He's done some great stuff. I mean,
yeah, I mean, we're just getting heated up.
Didn't Roundup start using another chemical that is just as bad, if not worse, in it, and it's in it now? That's a good one to ask. Well, or maybe it's true. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Roundup. Did Roundup change the company? Or hold on. Here we go. Monsanto changed the chemical in Roundup after the lawsuits. Let's ask that question. Yes, beginning in 2024, Monsanto, now owned by Bayer, and remember this:
He
Bayer
said that at the beginning. They changed names.
Yeah, Bayer is a Nazi company. I'm not being euphemistic here. I'm saying that Bayer is a company that was owned and run and still is to this day by the Third Reich. That's who did it. So they made mustard gas.
Yeah.
So let's put this up on the screen.
Beckham says, Tucker addressed geoengineering today. He said no one looks at the sky anymore because they have iPhones. Well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. But I have an iPhone and I look at the sky.
I saw a cool little video today where everybody's necks in the picture were all bent down. I'll have to look it up. And so now the government's selling all these neck braces to bring their heads back up to look up.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
they're making money.
I highly doubt that the government would make people look up.
Well, I don't know who is. People are making money off of.
Looks like I lost you. There we go. I just sent poor Justin a thing he be doing her. All right. Well, we'll get back on this. I'm going to play this for you about family farms, since we were just talking about farms.
There are a lot of family farms out there, and this is going to piss some people off, but this is the truth. They're coasting because they've got this chunk of ground. And in 1980, that was a big chunk of ground. Today, it's not that big, but they're in a competitive place where renting more ground doesn't necessarily mean more income, but there are farms out there, they're grain farming. That's what they're doing, they're grain farming. And that's what they've always done. And the return on that investment has not kept up with the cost of living. And
there we go. So we've got Justin back. Hold on, Justin. I was just playing a video there. We'll stop that and we'll get back to you here. Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Computer just totally locked up. Never does that.
Well, you know, it does for us. I wish I could say, oh, really? But we've had some, we used to do spaces. We'd get hundreds and hundreds of people. We'd get thousands of listens and everything. And all of a sudden, but every spaces that we did on X, we would have technical problems.
Yeah.
And finally, they wouldn't let people log on. They wouldn't let people, by they, I mean X. And they just completely shut us down. So we've moved to a streaming format. And I'm moving off X. I'm moving over to Rumble. But hey, by the way, big plug. If you guys aren't following me on Rumble, go follow me on Rumble. Do it now. Watch me over there because, as you just saw, well, our poor guests are being bumped off. Justin, take it in. Now, somebody was asking, a number of people were asking in the chat, how did you get into geoengineering?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the rabbit hole. You know, once you look at, okay, they're poisoning our food. Well, what about our water? Okay,
Yeah.
well, the ingredients are bad on my food. What about my deodorant? What about my shampoo? So I
Oh,
just
God.
looked at almost every single thing that we could imagine and really got it out of my life. And I was like, well, what about our air? So you just eventually find all of these, you know, mass toxicity, mass poisoning methods that I call them. And I try to get active on all of them. I've done probably, when it comes to vaccines, GMOs, fluoride,
Mm-hmm.
chemtrails, I've probably done the least amount on the chemtrail topic, but that's picked up in recent years as it's become more mainstream. It's become more, not as taboo to talk about. And as you probably saw, I'll be in that climate trails film that's going to be coming out very soon.
Right. I just saw I think Jen sent that to me, and oh, thank you, Jen, for booking Justin here. So on the on the Monsanto front, on the chemtrail front, do you believe that we are being poisoned by things like Roundup? Are they weaponizing it, micronizing it, and dropping it in the sky with their SAI, SRM, marine cloud brightening, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, it's a tough one because we can always speculate on what exactly they're doing these things for, and there may be a laundry list. Like some of their other deceptions, you can list off 8 reasons why they did 9/11.
Right.
But I don't know. You know, I wonder if it's got something to do with the 5G, the nanotechnology, spraying this stuff in the air, lining us with something in particular to maybe make us conductors with the supercomputer. There's all these theories out there that are very plausible, but I'm always kind of the person that kind of put on my journalist hat. And what can we prove?
Yeah.
You know, what are they doing, and or what are they lying about, and expose that. The who and the why is always very tough to pinpoint. You know, I definitely will speculate on it, but it's tough to really nail down because, you know, why would you spray? I've been on cruise ships before and seen spraying. So it's like, why are you spending all the money and time to be spraying in all these kind of remote areas, even over the country, over the ocean sometimes? Are we really experimenting with the weather every single day? We're practicing messing with
Right.
hurricanes and rain. It's got to be something more to that. And that's what's sort of intriguing and a little, you know, worrying sometimes.
It is worrying. I think that the thing that worries me most is, will we get to a tipping point where Mother Nature just says, you know what, screw it, we're starting over, and no oxygen for you?
Right. I don't know, man. You got to wonder if we ever are just pushing it to the limit too much. I do have optimism though with a lot of these topics. You know, fortunately I think that we can outlive a lot of these things. I mean,
Right.
many of us were eating GMOs growing up, like myself, or getting the full vaccine schedule and drinking this toxic fluoride. And look at us now. You know, not all of us are doing so bad. A lot of us have woken up and seen through it despite all that, gotten healthy despite all that. So I think as long as we slow down their agenda, what do they used to call it, Agenda 21, now it's Agenda 2030. Let's make it Agenda 2040, and maybe we can just keep pushing it back, and they never get their new world order that they want so badly.
Exactly. Well, you know, I mean, you got to hand it to Vladimir Putin. He says that he is, making the new world order enemy number one there in Russia. So, and I think that this peace deal is going to allow him to really double down on that once he's got more money to invest back into his country. So, you mentioned fluoride.
Yes.
Fluoride is very good for the teeth.
Got it. We took it out in Florida, so it's a great feeling.
Yeah. So tell me a little about that, because we've been fighting fluoride for quite some time as well, and they say they don't put it in the water here in Idaho, but some people say they still might be doing it. I know that you worked with Stand for Health Freedom on that. A fantastic company.
Yeah, great group. Great
group. Absolutely.
Well, fortunately for whoever's thinking that, it is easy to find out. You should be able to determine whether or not your community is doing it. It was really something that we had been kind of barking about periodically for years. But when the federal court ruling came down in the fall of 24, saying that fluoride lowers IQ in children, something that's like, oh, where have we heard that before? Kind of like what we've been saying. We took that and ran with it. And in Florida, we have a Surgeon General that was outspoken against the COVID-19 vaccine and all these different things medical freedom wise. He look down the fluoride rabbit hole, thanks to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually started showing up and speaking out against this, calling it a neurotoxin, saying we should end it in Florida. So with the court ruling and our own Surgeon General, we just took this information into our city council and county commission meetings. These meetings that we had been speaking at every other week during COVID, trying to stop mask and vaccine mandates. So we had lots of experience, and we just kept doing it, going in there and showing them the evidence, showing them this is forced medication without informed consent, whether you think it's good or not, you can't force it on us. Many of them saw the light, thanks to Harvey Jr., thanks to Latipo, thanks to the federal court ruling. And honestly, the fourth thing I always credit is thanks to this post-COVID mentality of realizing that forced medication is a bad idea and everything shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all. And once you show people that fluoride is just like a COVID shot in that regard, people go, you know what, we do have to give people a choice. So we ended up ending it in 22 cities and 4 counties in just 6 months. That led to state legislature to pass a bill to outlaw it across the entire state. So the state of Florida has been fluoride free since July 1st.
Wow, good.
Did you have a question over there, babe?
Oh, well, Super wanted to know when we have a moment. She would like to hear more about the Climate Trails movie.
Oh yeah, we will definitely get to that right after I ask this question. If we have people, because we've got people in the Clear Skies movement all across the country, how can they tintype your legislation, or do they just get a hold of you or Stand for Health Freedom? What's the path forward for, let's say Wisconsin wants to get rid of fluoride?
Yeah, it's a great question, because we're actually working with states right now that are starting to get that ball rolling. First, it all depends on, do you have a state mandate? Some states are mandating every city and county to do it. If you do, you have to go through the state and get that repealed first, and then go city by city, county by county like we were. It's a very case-by-case basis, but we have a guide. Stand for Health Freedom website has literally a step-by-step process, how to contact your local representatives, how to get it out of the water. We're helping people do that. We're looking for helpers actually right now in York County, Pennsylvania. There are places in Missouri and Georgia looking into this. So yes, we're trying to take this nationwide, show people what we did so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. It can be done. You just got to have local leaders. You got to have someone there willing to do it. I can't call from Orlando and use my same tricks. They're like, we don't care. You're in Florida. I want to hear from my local constituents. Right. So local people have to step up, go speak at these meetings. I used to be terrified of public speaking. You just go in there and you'll get used to it. You only have 3 minutes. Speak what's from the heart, write it down, practice it. It's really simple.
I think that is very, very good advice right there. Because freedom, as we always say, is not free. You've got to go fight for it. And it's one of the things that's lost in America today. People think, well, somebody else will do it for me, and somebody else doesn't. They won't. And why should they? It's our freedom. We should fight for it. And if they think that the government is going to do it, they're sadly...
Especially the younger generation. I feel like they don't even know what's going on around them except what's right in front of them.
Exactly.
And a lot of it's education. You'd be shocked at how many of these council members just look at you with that deer in headlights look like, fluoride comes from where? You mean what's in our water? They don't even know. They got this job because, they want to help the school system and fix the roads, but they have no idea what's going in our water. They don't know what's being sprayed in our skies, what's in that mosquito spray. They're just clueless on these things. So a lot of time, education and building a relationship, they may be on your side after a couple meetings or a couple, speeches you do.
Absolutely. One of the problems that we have is a lot of not so bright people get into politics. And then you're just fighting the go along to get along culture that seems to be very pervasive in town hall, city hall, the county seat, the state government, and of course, the federal government. I mean, I've talked to, I don't know how many congressmen and senators and mayors, city managers, people that really don't have a clue what's going on with the people. All they know is they got the book, they open it. I'm supposed to give this contract here, that contract there, and we need more taxes. And it seems like that is what everybody is doing.
Well, case in point, we had some cities where they literally didn't know the fluoride had been turned off for 3 or 4 years. City
Wow.
manager didn't know, mayor didn't know, council members didn't know, public didn't know. Where's all that money going that you spend $800,000 a year on this fluoride chemical if you've had it off for, and no oversight? The state doesn't check on this stuff. So like they can just,
Wow.
something
Crazy.
will break and they'll say, oh, we don't want to spend money on that. And they just won't tell anybody. We had cities for 4 years, no fluoride, which great news, but
They were
wild
still
for
taking
just
money.
like, what else is happening like that? You know?
Exactly.
Like,
And where is that money going? And why don't we, the people, ever get money back? Why does the cost of living, the cost of our taxes, property taxes, the cost of fuel and energy always go up? And yet we have windfalls that come into the government that we never, ever see.
Yep.
Did you ever find out where that money's going?
We never did. We a lot of times we were so just bulldozing through trying to get the fluoride out of the water.
Yeah.
We're like, wow, that's a whole other can of worms of
Mm-hmm.
transparency and budget problems. And we wouldn't even necessarily live in that city. It would be 2 counties over. But it was funny to see sometimes that
Yeah.
it's like, wow.
Well, I can see that. So now tell us a little about the movie.
Yeah, so this is a film by Hibbler Productions and the Enlightened Network. It's called Climate Trails. It should be out any moment, honestly. We're just waiting on some of the providers of who will be showing the film
Right.
being a little slow to pick it up. As you can imagine,
Absolutely.
we're a little controversial with the topic. The producers have faced a lot of backlash with other films they've made. So it's just a bumpy road trying to get it out there. And we really want to get it out to the masses. We don't want it to be just available on our, echo chamber, Telegram, Rumble, streaming sites. We really want it to get out there. And for those that don't know, Hibbler and his crew, they really try to make these films for the people just starting to wake up or just get curious so that you can pass that, your friend finally says, okay, what's the deal with these lines in the sky or this weather control? I finally heard about this. You got a good go-to documentary. That's what this is. So people like ourselves probably won't learn a ton. It'll be nicely packaged. But it is going to feature some great people like Kristen Megan, one of the original whistleblowers from this whole topic. Dr. Andrew Kaufman is in it. Who else? Some other great people. Oh, Monty Fritz, the
Yeah, I know Monty.
Tennessee.
Yep. Representative.
Yep. So, but yeah, Annie covers the woman who tracks down the pilots in California, I believe.
Oh, well, we have watched that. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So that's going to be in it as well. If you haven't seen the trailer, it's a great trailer. It's only about a minute long. Maybe another one is coming out before the actual release date, but I'm really looking forward to it. It should be exciting. I have a piece in there. I give a city council speech like I do on the other fluoride and other topics, but we went in there and did it on the geoengineering front. So hopefully this will inspire people to go out there and do what I did and try to get local resolutions passed to raise awareness about geoengineering in their local communities.
I mean, it has to happen. People have to start stepping up and taking risks. I mean, we've done it, and Lord knows there is a cost to it, but I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing at this point.
Where is it being played?
Well, we don't know yet. We're
you have
waiting
to
on
pitch
that.
it.
So,
Yeah.
do you know where the trailer is? Can we show the trailer right now?
I could send you the trailer. The trailer is probably on Hibbler Productions Instagram, and but I could just send it to you. Let's find it here.
Perfect. Are you going to email it to me, or are you going to send
I
it
can
by
send
X?
it through X, if that's all right.
Yeah, perfect. I'll bring it up right there, and then we can play it for everybody. Because I mean, who doesn't want to see a trailer
Right.
for
Something that we're fighting for.
exactly?
Well, to
I don't know
stop.
if you can open the Instagram link there, but that should do it.
Okay.
Yeah, Christy says that sounds so good and will be such a beneficial tool in educating the public. The people that don't know about it.
Exactly.
You know.
All right, here you go. Let's watch this.
These trails in the sky that last for the entire day and dissipate to become blanket cloud coverage of our sky are not condensation trails.
And I first could not believe it, and I started looking at the skies, and these are not normal. They're not natural. There's something going on. I don't know who it is or why they're doing it.
Chemtrails, they're not contrails, are indeed real. They're spraying almost every day. We're in very great danger from the pollution that's coming down over us. And we've been led astray by the military-industrial complex.
We are getting overexposed to toxins. It's a coupled systemic effect, and our bodies cannot metabolize these toxins.
Nanoparticles are now in the circulatory systems of both plants and humans. Welcome, fellow guinea pigs.
We are tired of you dumping heavy metals all over our county.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the one to talk to about that.
No, but you are. But you're the one that's doing it. So we are real people underneath what you're doing. You spray right over our houses. We hear you. We know you. We see you. We're watching your planes.
Oh, that is going to be good. Justin,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
That was good.
I am looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
DPSF 98 says I'll send it to my legislator, local and federal.
Everybody should.
Yeah. And I always remind people with this topic, it's been so hard. It's one of those topics that's been very hard to prove. You can walk in and say, are GMOs good or bad? You can have the debate with your legislators, with the scientists. You can do it with vaccines. You can do it with fluoride. With chemtrails, they go, that doesn't exist. I'm not having this conversation. So it's been a very difficult one to navigate. How do you stop something that they claim isn't real? Well, I have been telling people, don't go in there and try to prove to them this has been going on, because that doesn't matter anymore. We have evidence that they want to do it willingly, from Bill Gates to Harvard to the CIA to the Biden admin. They've all said, we want to spray the skies to stop climate change. Well, we don't consent to that. So now we need to put preventative measures in place to make sure no one does that. Oh, that's a crazy conspiracy. No, here's official sources right here, the people you trust, the mainstream, whatever, Harvard. They are saying on paper they want to do it. We need to put things in to stop it. And then you don't have to go into all the other debates and arguments, which people can have, but just trying to get through to these people, right, that don't believe us.
Absolutely. When I started the Clear Skies movement, the first thing I said to Christy, she was the co-founder, the first thing I said was, the argument is over. We are no longer arguing about if it's happening. It is now, what do we do about it?
Right. Because we'd have people come on the show, and make comments trying to say, well, how can you prove it? Like people who don't believe. And we just block, like, we're not here to, try to change your mind. You're here to either help us stop it. We're not having the debate.
I do. And it seems like there's a lot of people out there that are on some kind of a group, a payroll that come after you, act like they want to be part of the solution, and then attack you, just like Dane Wingington, just like Jane Ruby, just like Jim Lee, that whole contingent. And I don't like to put bullseyes on anybody, but it's people like that really get under my hide, because they do a lot more damage than they do good. Here we have, hundreds of thousands of people that get up every day and work to stop this, and then we have people that move against us when they say that they're trying to help, and all they're doing is monetizing it. Now, I hope this movie makes just a bucket load of money, because it deserves it. So what's the next step with is there going to be a follow-up movie?
I don't know what their plans are. He's made movies on so many different topics at this point that he may be in the works. He was making one about the old world structures and the Tartarian topic.
Right.
And as soon as that was done, he was making something about another topic. And then as soon as that was done, this climate trails was in the works. So there may already be another topic in the works. I don't know. And it may take some time for climate trails 2 or whatnot, but I can find out for you in the future.
How did you get involved in this movie?
So I've been friends with Sean Hibbler for some time now, because we linked up over time, just working on the same topics. And he's put me in a film or two over questioning NASA and confronting them over some of their fakery. So once he got the which one? I don't remember. I think I did a speech and sent it to him, and he wanted to put it in his film. And then with this one, he got the same idea and said, you know what, we really need to inspire people to go out and do what you did with this fluoride thing, going and calling these people out of these public meetings. Do you want to, let's do one for the climate trails film. So I went out to Texas and we found a city that was ripe for it and just went and did it in, I forget the city name now, but it'll come out when the movie's out.
I think it's absolutely fantastic, the work. It looks like this film's going to be very good. You know, speaking of Tartarian, right?
Drink some water.
Water's all gone. We've been having forest fires around us, and it blows in, and it's just been raising hell with my allergies and everything. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm
no problem.
Coughing or my eyes itch just a little bit. But you know, you've got the golden ratio of the Tartarian. You've got the Fibionic circle. You've got so much in Tartaria that I think that is the kind of stuff that needs to be out there. Were you in that documentary, or have you worked on any of that stuff as well?
No, not specifically. It definitely fascinates me, but I wasn't in that film. I was in his film Level with Me that focused a lot on NASA. That was the Old World Order film is the one you would want to check out. He did that one through Stu Peters. It's actually a little hard to get to because they censored the crap out of it. No, did he do that one? No, he did Occupied with Stu Peters. Old World Order was with a different I think a different person, but
I'm gonna look that up.
It's a really good film. Hibbler just really does a good job putting these movies together. We don't really have a guy like that, in my opinion, that does it for these topics. You know,
right.
Either is like kind of just clips edited together and thrown on YouTube, or it's like a very mainstream and it loses what we really are trying to get across. And he kind of fills that void, I think, for us.
I love that. I'd love to have him on, or him and you on when the movie comes out as well, or to talk about his other movies. So if he's ever interested, absolutely.
Yeah, he will be. I think I even asked him tonight, and he was just a little caught up. But once the film comes out, or right around the release date, I'm sure he'd be happy to come on.
I love that. Now, what other work are you doing now?
Right now, I kind of wait for the momentum to move in whatever direction it moves. So if I go back out and start screaming about 5G again, but there's literally just nothing there, I'll just jump to where the momentum is. So the fluoride thing hit us like a freight train in November of 24. We worked on that for 6 months straight. Since then, I'm just trying to regain my footing. I'm still a realtor by day. I have a family, and I got to juggle all these things. So I'm really just kind of watching the landscape and seeing where we want to attack. The only real thing we've been working on is the climate trails film and trying to help other cities and states around the country take the fluoride out.
I think that is very admirable, because fluoride is a toxin, a very deadly toxin that does enormous damage to the brain and the rest of the nervous system. It's nothing you want to mess around with. And the fact that we pay, right, our tax dollar goes into the government buys the fluoride from the aluminum companies and then drops it in our water. It's a toxic waste. That's what it was. And
they just found a creative way to dispose of their waste by selling it to municipalities. So it's really crazy. And then just that point right there, a lot of city managers, city council members didn't know that. They thought it was this naturally occurring thing found in the river. And I'm like, you guys know that it's a chemical waste. You know, we had a mayor go down there and say, I had no idea that they had to like wear this equipment and you can't get too close to it because it eats through the metal. If you spill it, they have to call hazmat crews. And then we had the light bulb go off. Like, that's what we're putting in our water? That's not naturally occurring elements.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it the same fluoride that dentists still use?
Yes.
Do dentists still put fluoride on children's teeth and all?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're still using it.
I think that's slightly different. That's like sodium fluoride, but you know, it's still a concern. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the kind that was put in rat poison. So.
Yeah, it all comes from the same base source. That's the problem. You can dink with it however you want, but really, it's the exact same source that fluoride's coming from. Oh, I was just going to say, did you guys have a chance to talk to J. Marvin Herndon, Dr. Herndon?
No, I'm not familiar with that person.
He is a interdisciplinary geophysicist, and he and Dr. Whiteside have they're probably the most peer-reviewed and published on fly ash in the jet fuel. And fly ash comes out of the coal industry and other industries, but in particular the coal industry. The reason I mention this is because fluoride was kind of the did the same thing that the fly ash community did. It was a toxic waste. It costs hundreds of billions of dollars a year for them to get rid of it. And so they made a deal and said, hey, why don't we save the world from the sun? Yeah. Heat the planet. All of a sudden, you have you've got a massive panic. You drive the panic, and then you say, you know what? We've got a solution. We're going to start working with Harvard, David Keith, and Scopex, and we're going to make sure that the sun, the bad sun, doesn't do any harm anymore. And we're going to cover the sky. And that is how they started doing it. And they started putting it in jet fuel to the tune of $1 trillion a year in just the fly ash.
I was shocked to learn actually how common that practice was. It's not just the fluoride or this, it's many different things. They find out, well, this is too expensive to dispose of. Let's break it down and sell it as something else. Sell it as a product or something. Maybe it's in yoga mats. Maybe it's in their sneakers. Who knows, you know?
It certainly is. It becomes a toxic roller coaster, if you will, where it goes around once. Okay, what's the next product we need to get rid of, and we can dump it in
reclaimed water, right?
Oh my God!
Right.
I mean, it's really what we're doing with things, and then the side effects, the risks are just downplayed, overlooked, swept under the rug,
or not lied about or denied.
Yep.
Because if you have a ghost, it's very difficult to pinpoint it. And so why admit to it when you don't have to?
Yeah,
and then
sorry, go ahead.
And then you get to dump hundreds of billions of dollars a year, or trillions in this case, into that and say, I don't know where that money went. I don't know what they're using it for. It's above my pay grade.
And what they do is they create a cure that's worse than the disease. That was the quote that I used during COVID. I said, HBO interviewed us and was like, why are you all protesting the lockdown, all this? I'm like, the cure is worse than the disease. The lockdowns are going to be more harmful than COVID. The vaccine's going to be more harmful than this. You can't, spray mosquito spray over people that develops cancer in the community when all they were going to get were some annoying mosquito bites. How many people died of dengue fever? Okay. Like when we do the math, how many people died of measles or died of the MMR? When you start breaking these things down, the cure is always worse than the freaking disease that they've probably created or spread in the first place.
Absolutely. I mean, the numbers are coming out now that between 15 and 17 million people have died because of the COVID vaccine around the planet. That doesn't include the almost billion people that have AIDS, vaccine-induced AIDS, which incidentally is the same. They put HIV in those vaccines, and HIV, it was created out of Ebola, and Ebola was a created virus. I mean, they're all bioweapons. It all leads back to we need to depopulate the planet. That's my take on it. But I mean, look at the money that went into COVID's here. We've got to solve it. And, in a time when it takes decades to go from this is the problem, here's the vaccine. We had the vaccine within weeks. I mean, didn't that just rattle people? Like, wait a minute, did they have this in the can? Of course they did, but
of course.
So what is your take on how, because now we're hearing about Marburgs, we're hearing about, what was the monkeypox, right? They had the big scare on monkeypox, and that's frightful because you can show the pictures and it looks a lot like smallpox. So, very frightening if they put it on the evening news. What is your take on
stuff? Was like testing the waters.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I think the pandemic did not go as well as they wanted.
Right.
I think they were hoping more people would abide by the rules. I think more people would go get vaccinated. I don't think, I think the censorship didn't work as well. We still kind of broke through the cracks. And maybe they were going to do another one, but it was the percentage of people that weren't going for it. They were like, oh crap, this isn't gonna. And then monkeypox, I think, fell flat. I think people were just like over it.
Mm-hmm.
Such COVID burnout from whether people
Yeah.
thought it was a hoax or not. It was just such burnout from arguing with people in grocery stores and on the internet that when it was over, it's like no one's going for that again. You have to actually be seeing people drop dead in the streets for I think anyone to actually do anything. So in my eyes, the next big thing will probably be something out of left field that we never see coming because it always is. We never dreamed, 9/11. We never dreamed COVID. Even though we know they're cooking something up, we don't know what that one. So I don't know. It's usually a surprise. Not sure.
Can you answer me this? It's an opinion question, but what is your opinion on why we keep the same people in government that keep doing things like 9/11 to us and then shipping our men and women off to war and dumping trillions into rebuilding countries, and we know that doesn't work, and doing stuff like creating a bioweapon, doing the gain of function in Wuhan, and then infecting the world, driving the fear campaign, and then they invest in the vaccine. They've got billions of people taking the vaccine, and all of a sudden we've got death and infertility. The infertility rates, the miscarriage rate it's off the charts, and the all-cause mortality rates. Why do you think we keep the same people in government generation after generation? How is it not that the people of America aren't clearing that out? Federal, state, local, county, they should not be allowed to be back in government.
I guess the only way is because the system is set up as a facade. So the conventional ways that they tell us, like voting and just picketing, that doesn't get us out of it. And if there's always a deep state manipulating and keeping gatekeepers and keeping us from ever getting to the real things, then the Democrat Republican doesn't matter, and that it's literally too big to fail. They can justify anything, any means to an end. Well, we can't release the Epstein files because it will literally bring down all the people in both parties and the country and the economy. And do you want your kids in bread lines? I mean, and then they go, oh wow, I guess it is really bad to release those files. Like somehow you can make people justify not releasing, pedophile files. But
Right.
I think that's where it is. All of them must be so insanely scared to death of something or blackmailed or both. I'm really not sure. You look at people like Buzz Aldrin who get all like flustered when they're trying to talk about the moon landing,
Yeah.
or government officials that say one thing and as soon as they get in, they're just like, oh no, nothing to see here. It's like, what is that? So the only thing I guess we can all explain is a really powerful group that's always been in power, and that they're scared to death of some sort of blackmail or something that they can do to them.
They certainly are.
How did we get these few families that rule the world out?
Right. I think it's a long-term prospect, but getting rid of the families that rule the world, I think has to be done. It needs, Russia, say what you will about Vladimir Putin. He doesn't take kindly to the Rothschilds running his banking anymore, and he's literally thrown them out and taken over the banks. I think that needs to happen in country after country. And of course, it'll never happen in Europe, the EU. That's a lost cause.
Yeah, it's tough because it seems like the Western world is really under like one rule. And how do you unravel people that own the banks and the government? Because you could just stop, like I said, stop buying what they're selling on smaller scales. But if you literally control every institution, and if you get rid of one family, even if that's possible, another one would take its place. I think we just have to keep shining a light on who exactly is connected to what. Because how far have we taken it back, right? To like BlackRock and all these groups. Well, do people even know about the Orsini, or what's the other name? There's another name that's like bigger and I think more higher up than the Rothschilds. Like we have the Rothschilds and Rockefellers on our sort of the front, facing,
But there's
then there's even people behind that.
definitely.
So you have to wonder, like, what do those people control? But again, if they control more than just corporations and they actually control religious and government institutions like the Vatican and the government,
Right.
yeah, that's a tough one. We just have to keep shining a light on what they're doing and just route them out.
Yeah, I've heard that there is a big family connection that, and it's one of those names. Maybe it is the Orsini's. I can't remember, that actually runs the Vatican. And they have estimated that worth is between 100 and 400 trillion dollars. It's wealth that we can't even imagine.
And I mean, if you really want to get really deep with it, I mean, some people think that there's something deeper behind all of those people, something that maybe paranormal or interdimensional or something not human. David Icke, other people are of that belief, and if that's the case, then that might be something enough to scare people enough to get in line. If you go take them down to Antarctica and show them lizard people, I might
exactly
think twice about what I'm looking at and go, okay, what are we dealing with here? But who knows?
But here's the fact. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Jen said RFK is from an Illuminati family, and I agree. Like, presidents are also part of it. Reagan, Bush, Truman. I mean, they're all part of that family. Why are we allowing these people to?
Because they have the money and the power to get in. They've got the Kennedy name.
Yeah. So I mean, why are we trusting RFK if we already know where he's from, but he's supposed to be helping us with?
Well, RFK presents himself as the anti-government.
So I think he kind of coming from a person who actually does have, I do lend some trust to him because he's been doing a lot of the same things I've been doing.
Right.
Just with his name and his fame and sort of platform, he's been exposing a lot of the topics I have. So I give him a lot of credit. If he is, a black sheep, that's terrible. But I think he's the black sheep of the Kennedy family. You've got all those mainstream Kennedys that were really lashing out at him for saying things about COVID and vaccines.
Right.
But he's been spot on about those. I don't agree with him about everything. There's plenty of stuff he said that I don't agree with. But, as far as, sort of using his name and platform to put vaccines, GMOs, chemtrails sort of on the map, it has been beneficial.
Yep. So let's take a look at the lizard people. And there are a number of videos of people, strange looking people, standing around in our government, just administration after administration, the same type of looking people. General Petraeus was talking in front of Congress, testifying in front of Congress, and all of a sudden something happened. John McCain was questioning him, and John McCain looked horrified. And there's a side shot that you can see where it looks like Petraeus's face is morphing into something else. They say that lizard people have the ability to shapeshift. I trust me, I know how crazy this sounds, but the fact of the matter is that when we keep hearing these stories time and again about people, we have to wonder, and we've had whistleblowers that have come out and said, yes, I was at a deep underground base. We got in a battle with about 15 of these, very tall lizard people. They killed some of us. We killed some of them. We fought them back and got out of there. Yep. So
Schneider, that's who that is, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's those are stories that fascinate. That was actually what woke me up first, was the alien story. I was very interested, and it was like all these high-level whistleblowers talking about this stuff, which I've now come to understand. A lot of those people could have been fed information to make them primed to be whistleblowers with the final alien deception if they use that as a false flag. But setting that aside, it really interested me that these people were coming forward and telling these stories. And I eventually heard Dr. Stephen Greer talk about the New World Order and the Federal Reserve families and the banking and Monsanto. And I was like, what is all that? And that's what sent me down it. So it truly
Yeah.
was aliens that started it. And I remember seeing the Phil Schneider stories and hearing about this stuff. And David Icke, he's been right about just about everything else. Why would he just blow smoke about the reptilian thing? It's just
Exactly.
it's a tough one, but again, it's very hard for me to prove, very hard for me to control. So I personally don't spend a lot of time on it.
Right.
We have paintings. We have the Hopi Indian paintings with reptilian faces. We've got hieroglyphics from Egypt with reptilian faces. We've got the in the Grand Canyon. They say that there are Egyptian style hieroglyphics with some of those being reptilian. We've got stories all the way from the Norse people to the Far East that talk about this throughout history. I mean, it's not really even a myth at this point anymore. It's just tracking it down. What are they saying?
DPS 98 says they're breeding interdimensional beings, transhumans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see, it's just like the cloning topic, this topic.
Yeah.
Stuff really kind of worrisome, but also fascinating to look into.
It is.
Right.
It's just really hard to know. I just recently looked into that Bayside Miami event, which at the time, I guess we were so deep in COVID fighting, the mandates. I never looked into it. I wrote it off as this weird distraction in the media. It was strange. It seemed cheesy. But
Yeah.
I re-looked at it recently and was like, man, there's something here. Like there was something
Really?
weird going on there. The police response was unprecedented.
2,400 cops.
Yeah, it was really wild. And there was a lot of people claiming, I haven't been able to verify, but that almost everybody was searched on their way out and told to delete their pictures and videos from what they saw. So I don't know what happened, but it makes you wonder,
It does make you wonder. I watched an interview. I think the night it happened, a kid said that he had video. He pulled up his phone and he's like, "My video's gone."
Yeah, I heard that too. Some people that got out and didn't get with the cops and remove things, that things were disappearing from their phone by itself.
Yeah.
Which doesn't surprise me. I think we all know they have that capability if they really want to.
Oh yeah.
So in your digging into it, what have you come up with? Do you have a hypothesis?
No, I didn't do enough digging. I did enough to see that there's way too many witnesses claiming that they were, sort of harassed by the police or lost photos. And I noticed everyone had the same story.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It just didn't feel like they were lying to me. And everyone had this story like they were just kind of scared. They thought it was gunshots. They were in a little bit of panic. And then they just saw these 8 to 10 foot shadowy figures. And that's so bizarre. I don't know if the cops even maybe tried to shoot at them. But you had another guy who called his father, who was a police officer, and tried to ask him what happened. And he got really kind of, defensive and quiet about it. It's like, I can't talk about it. And I told you I can't talk about it.
Yeah. People were saying that like a dimensional tear kind of opened up, and all of a sudden these like dark, shadowy, flowy type of beings started coming through.
I know. And so what would you... And then to tell everyone it's just teenagers fighting. I mean, you need to come up with something better than that.
A little better.
Thousands of cop cars.
Absolutely. I was transfixed by that story when it broke, and I watched it for days. But the night that it came out, I don't know if you remember, but they were asking all the kids, who was shooting. Nobody was shooting. They're like aliens, right? They're beings. They asked, I don't know how many. Remember we watched that? They asked, groups of kids. No, there was no gang activity. There was no fighting. We're running from something that's weird.
What was weird to me was if there was a fight or if there was a shooting, there's always video.
Always.
And the police never try to delete videos of that. They would never try to erase everyone. And then the people who talked about why they didn't take videos, the one guy was compelling. He's like, listen, man, he was like, at first I was watching it, trying to worry about the safety of me and my family. So I'm not immediately like, let's film. It wasn't just a fight. He's like, yeah, if I saw a fight and I was like peeking over, maybe I would have took my phone out. Yeah. But I was like concerned about what it was. And then he goes, when you see something paranormal, he goes, you were frightened.
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to get out of there. He goes, you don't think about filming. So he's like, yeah, fight, maybe even a shooting if it was way off. You're like, looking over the back. He goes, there was no thought of a phone. And I don't know, just
that's interesting.
The way that these people were telling the stories. I don't know if it's all a big hoax. What's it for? It seemed compelling to me.
It seems very, very compelling. I'll tell you, I think that if anybody goes out and they see something instantly, they try to get their phone out and then get it unlocked and then get to the video camera and then make sure it's not on picture or panorama, right? Get that and then try to get that in frame while hundreds of kids are running at you, thousands.
Vectum says because they're changing the frequencies to open portals. There was a book from 1920 made into a movie called From Beyond about it. H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, I think we all know that book.
Yeah. But I think that's what happened that night. Portals opened and all of a sudden it wasn't in the right place. They didn't know the portal was going to be right in the middle of a mall.
Yeah.
There was a story, which I hate to even tell this because I didn't confirm this, and this could just be some crazy comment, but someone claimed that some kids showed up. Sounded like a Jumanji scenario. They showed up, they opened up something, they thought it was going to do something, and then all that happened. But who knows,
Interesting.
They opened a portal.
I've heard the theory that somebody may have got the portal destination wrong because if you change something around in that latitude and longitude where it opened, it takes you down to the Antarctica.
That's just what I was going to make a joke about. I was like, what if they were trying to go to Antarctica?
Yeah, exactly. Ended up in Miami. Welcome to Miami.
Yeah, what a mess up.
It's crazy, but
what happened to the aliens? That's what I want to know.
What did happen to the aliens?
I mean, 2,200. How many cops were there?
Like 2,400 cops showed up.
Even like a photo of them outside. I mean, it's a really grainy and crappy, but everyone points to it, and when you zoom in, it's like, well, that's not a police officer. And the claim is that those are just people. It looks funny in the image. No, that image actually looks like a 8 to 10 foot tall shadow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I'm telling you, there is something up. And then just shortly before or after that, remember the people in, was it New Mexico? They saw these 10, 15, 20-foot beings out in their backyard.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's definitely stuff out there. I think there's something to the Bigfoot story.
Get out of my head. I was just going to say Bigfoot.
Yeah, there's stuff out there. I've heard credible stories from people I know about that, and there are things out there that are telepathic. There are things out there that hide at night and that we don't know anything about, and I think are very advanced. And we get all these legends and hear about these things, but there's definitely some truth to them. It's not. I'm of the belief that no one just ever makes something up. No one just created a mermaid or an alien. These things existed at some point, somewhere, at some time, maybe still do, right?
Exactly. There's in Syracuse, New York, I think. The State Fair in the Horticulture Building, a guy named Charles Snake Stewart it has Bigfoot remains that he's going to be showing there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't seen that? It looks real.
But do you remember the guy that said that he had it and it was frozen in his freezer, and it turned out once he sold it for like $200,000. And then once they thawed it out, it was just a Bigfoot costume.
Yeah,
a costume.
I never gave the topic an ounce of thought up until about 6 to 8 months ago. I used to use the phrase, don't lump us in with like the Bigfoot crowd. I use that as the crazy one. But now, and at this point, nothing is the crazy crowd. Everything is on limits.
Nothing will shock you.
I feel like I'm the crazy crowd now.
Yeah.
We've got about a minute left. Is there anything that you'd like to wrap up with?
Yeah, just don't ever underestimate the power of one person, even without experience in this stuff. I started off as just a regular guy. Sometimes one conversation can spark another flame to someone do something really great. One sign at a protest, one social media post I've seen change people's lives before. So just keep holding that fire and hold it down wherever you are, and we will continue to wake up the world and be the change that we wish to see.
I think that is a fantastic note to end on.
Some people are saying they don't want this to end tonight.
Yeah, I know, but it has to, because we'll be back tomorrow night, and there it goes.
But we won't have Justin. So
Justin, thank you very much. Reach out to me anytime. Let's stay in contact, and
we would love to have you after the show comes out.
Yeah, absolutely.
The movie,
Absolutely. We'll try to get Sean and come on here and talk about. We'll recap on the film and everything.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to let you go. You have a great night.
Good night.
All right, y'all have a good one. Thanks for having me.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, baby.
All right. Well, there we go. So that, of course, was Justin Harvey, and I could have talked to him all night long. As a matter of fact, I think I did. Nobody else got a word in edgewise.
No, I never got to. They were just all talking, and it's all good. They were listening.
It is.
Yeah.
Remember, tomorrow night, we are on at 6 p.m., 6 to 9 p.m. We've got the whole crew. We've got me and Dawn and Austin and Jack are all going to be here. I think it's going to be one hell of a lot of fun. We've figured some things out, so you'll be able to hear people. You'll actually be able to hear them.
Yeah.
So for all of us, I am Sergey Brown. Follow me on Substack too. Follow me on Rumble. We're building our Rumble channel.
Yeah.
I'm Sergey Brown.
I'm Dawn.
And we will see you next
Tomorrow.
time.